The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. Well, after one holiday, we're getting ready for another, and we're going to start that holiday the best way you can, and that was with our man, Mr. Norman, who calls it to the minute. Winsky will be our guest here at the full break, and it will be interesting to see what he has. He's always got some great stuff, and we have this beautiful full moon here over the desert coming in here on the 30th and 2 more days, and it is starting to show its beautiful colors tonight. Just absolutely incredible how beautiful it is. We're going to start out with the bit, boys and girls. We're going to take this horse by the bit. Bitcoin, 28,240. That doesn't look like a tulip bulb mania to me, boys and girls, at least not yet. John Jameson has a target on Bitcoin. Sometime in 2022 to 24, it'll be around $55,000. And believe me, folks, that is certainly in the ballpark, because you can realize we were down here at 3,200 here, way back in March of this year, and we've rallied $20,000. You just add $20,000 onto what we've done right now, boys and girls, and you're there. So this is certainly not a tulip bulb. What it is, I don't even know. All I know is that it's something that is, pretty important. We've got a really good question from someone here today, and there's nothing better to talk about to prove this to our folks, and that is this one right here happens to be the chart of natural gas. Well, about 1 o'clock this morning, actually yesterday, I got an email from our good friend Mr. Z in the room, and he said, something has happened to natural gas. And boys and girls, as you can see here, we've had a monster gap down, 20 handles. That's $2,000 in natural gas. And that leads us to the question that we have from Melody, and that is this. What is the difference between a stop loss order and a stop limit order? Okay, now a stop loss order is when the market hits your price, it immediately becomes a market order. In this case today, if the market would have opened, which it did at around 232, it would have filled your order. Your stop would have been filled right about that price at 232. Now, if you had had a stop limit in, it means that your stop, you'll be limited to a certain price. You have to pick what that is. So you're going to put a sell stop at, let's say, 250, but you're going to limit it to 245. Well, it never got to 245. You're not going to get filled until the market rallies back to 245. So this thing could go all the way down to 1.75, 1.47. It could go, make new lows. And you would be sitting there with nothing in your hand but paper, and you'd be losing and losing and losing. Now, this order is absolutely the worst possible order that you can put in at any time in your life. That should be illegal, but they've never done it that way. I don't know why, but that's just my 2 cents worth. I will tell you the story behind the stop limit order that I was involved with in 1991. I was doing a expert witnessing case with my friend Eddie Horowitz. I was working for him. He was the attorney. I was the expert witness. And he couldn't be at 2 places at one time. He had to be in San Francisco in federal court. And this was a U.S. district court in Los Angeles. And I had to appear, and I was the expert witness for Kiesel, Young, and Logan out of San Diego, out of Long Beach. And the judge was Marianne Feltzer, and her husband was the man who was running, I think, Columbia Pictures at the time. And she was a very, very powerful judge and very, very tough. Eddie didn't even want to go to that because of the fact that she was the judge, and he had had trouble with her before. So he asked me to go, and I said, sure. So I went. I didn't have any problems. And so it's time for me to come in, and they put me into the stand. I walk up to get into the stand, and all of a sudden I tripped. and I fell into the chair where the witness box was. And she says to me, she says, you don't have to worry. I'm not going to bite. And I looked at her and I said, Judge, I said, I'm not worried about you biting at all. It's something else. And everybody started to laugh. And I didn't mean it as something funny. It meant that I'm just, I'm more afraid of you than anything else. Anyway, it broke the ice and it turned out to be okay. The case went all right. But the case involved a stop limit order by Dean Witter. The Dean Witter order, this broker, a relatively new broker at Dean Witter for commodities, and this was 91, well after the commodity boom, he was telling his customers to use stop limit orders because he believed that the floor was in there looking for your prices and you wanted to get filled at your price. Well, it happened to be in a coffee market and it went through the stop limit order and the customer ended up losing about $75,000 because it just kept dropping and dropping and dropping, and the customer thought he was out. And he wasn't. Anyway, the one thing led to another, and the paper trail led to the fact that Dean Witter had certainly made some really silly things. And basically, we were trying to get the Dean Witter to settle because, they had no leg to stand on. Well, by the time it finished, they should have settled, and it ended up costing about twice what they should have. So don't ever, ever, ever use a stop limit order. It's absolutely terrible. Stop and think of it, folks. You're talking about a few pennies here or there, and you want to be out of the market. Remember the old adage, it's much better to be out of a market wishing you were in than in a market wishing you were out. And that's what you want to do. A stop limit order does not guarantee that you're going to be out of the market. A stop order does, but it becomes a market order. Once that price hits, it becomes a market order. Like in this case in natural gas, Mr. Z took a big hit on that. But, Mr. Z's a big boy. He wears big boy pants to work every day, and he takes his accolades at the time, and then once in a while he gets whacked something like this, and it's not going to be the end of the world to Mr. Z. I'm sure he's going to let us know that, but there's nothing you can do about it. There must have been something fundamental happening in natural gas. But no matter what, don't use a stop limit order, folks. It's no good. It just never has been, and it never will be. They should have been. Mr. Z's telling us right here, right now, it's the natural gas crush. There's a crush in natural gas. Are you kidding me? I didn't know that. Well, Mr. Z, you know what, buddy? You've had one heck of a year, pal. No matter what they say to you, the stuff that you've given us here in this room today, it equals anything I've ever seen in these markets. I mean, you've been long corn, wheat, beans, oil. I mean, you've just nailed them all, and we appreciate them for what we have. So there's nothing else you can do. You got to take it with humility. That's right. You take your lumps and move on and just wait for the next one. It's just like being on the bus, folks. Always have two quarters, my grandma always said, because if you don't find somebody on the first bus, there'll be somebody on the second bus, and that's what it's all about. Speaking of a bus, we have Mr. Norm Winski going to be our guest here at the half-hour break in about 16 minutes. You don't want to miss that because he's got some really good things for timing that he always has. And remember, he's given us some really great things to look at. We want to certainly listen to what he has, again, to say, because we got some really great guests coming in here, folks. They've got some really smart people, and they've helped us a great deal, and we certainly want to keep doing that. So I hope that it answers the question about the stop limit orders. Don't use them. They're no good. They're not your friend. 877-927-6648. It's hard to get through right now, but keep trying.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Do you have broken or unwanted jewelry, diamonds, watches, coins, silverware, and other collectibles that you would like to turn into cash? Tiger Precious Metals and Stones will pay fair market value. We make it easy to turn your precious metals that are sitting around in your house into cash. Call Andy now at 727-329-8245 and he will walk you through our safe and secure process. Andy has been in the business buying and selling precious metals for over 15 years. Call Andy now at 727-329-8245.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, folks, we're back, and we are going to revisit that Apple trade that we did, I believe, on the 22nd of December before we took a holiday there for a day. Anyway, you'll notice that we went up to our price, which was 132.79. We broke down 3 points down to the 382 retracement at 129.51. Now we're rallying back. Right now we're trading around 133.70. I checked just a little while ago. The projected high of the day today, folks, is 135.89, and that's the range that we did on the 22nd. That total range, multiply that by the expansion of 1.27, and that takes us up to 135.29. That's also, if you want to defy human nature and do the work yourself, do the big ABCD between the 10th of December, the 21st in December, and where we are today. That would take you to the roundabout price of 135.89, a new high. Remember, this is the most actively traded stock in the world, and believe me, folks, it's the most widely held stock, and so let's keep an eye on that. But that 1.27 expansion gives it. But look at this, folks. Look what happened since just from back in December, early December. Look at the retracements: 382, 618. The expansions are 1.618, 1.618. I mean, this is not rocket science. You don't have to use a lot of oscillators and moving averages to try to see things. You may look for a price that's going to reach that level, and pays your money, take your choice, and take a shot at it. You risk $3 on a stock that's trading for 133. My goodness, that's less than well, it's 2.5%. That's hardly nothing. You could be wrong 40 times in a row and still make money if you did that. Now, we had an interesting situation here last night in one of the markets that we follow quite dearly, and that is here is the get this up here 1 second so we can take a look at it. Thank you very much, Albert, and happy holidays to you too. Here is the gold. We rallied $25 an ounce. Is that right? 30. Excuse me. We rallied $30 an ounce from Friday into today. Do we have a guest? Is that what that is? Probably don't care. Mr. Z is asking, will Mr. Jameson be a guest to talk about that 55,000 target? Not a chance. Mr. Jameson doesn't like to go into the public life very much. I mean, and talk about, boy, he should too, because God, has he got a lot of great information. But the problem is that when he talks about it, there's so many other questions that line up that people don't think about, because his way of thinking is different than the way anybody thinks about something. In other words, if you tell him something, what he's doing is his mind is already thinking is what is really going on behind the scenes to make the person make this type of a thought. And we see this in Brexit. In fact, I was chatting with John. In fact, I chat with John every single day. And he was telling me what was going to happen with this Brexit thing that was just all done. He said, it's not done. He said, they'll start challenging it Monday morning. And by golly, what are they doing Monday morning? They're saying, well, it's not exactly the way we wanted because this thing is that and this thing is this. They were telling the people in The Guardian and all the other places about how the fisheries deal was going to be the big factor. That's less than 1% of the GDP, folks. So it had nothing to do with the fisheries. It had to do with a whole lot of other things, and that was a problem. But anyway, let's move on here to the gold market. You'll notice here we had a big rally in gold here last night of about $30. Then we came down for a little bit. We dropped all the way down about $9. And then over the next 2 hours up to the price of 1900 again, which was a 382 retracement of the high, and that's what I watch for, is if these markets are going to turn. You can see here we had the big break. We went all the way down. We had a price objective of 1870. We got to 1876, and we rallied back to the 61% retracement this morning at I believe 1894. And now we're, backing and filling. But the fact that it was have this kind of volatility here is what we're looking at here in gold, folks. $30 up, $30 down. I mean, this is not for the faint of heart. So you've got to be able to use stops. I still believe that we've got a chance to get below that $1,800 level at least one more time, hopefully. And I know hopefully is a terrible trading word, but if we can do that, I still think we got a chance to get gold at a nice level here in early January, possibly, to see if we can get a good buy price in it. I am not convinced that this is the absolute high in the gold market, folks. I still think we got a chance to have one heck of a run if it can get above there. If we can get gold, Bitcoin up to 28,000, we could certainly get gold, back up to 2,500 or even higher than that, given the fact that the Fed is pumping everything but water onto these things, and it's got more paper coming out of the Fed than we've ever seen before, and that could be a reasoning of why people, are starting to look at blockchains and cryptocurrencies and other things that I think that could be relatively important over a longer period of time. No matter what happens, folks, we're going to come out of this okay. It might take 2 years, it might take 4 years, it might take 10 years, it might take 2 decades. I don't know, but we will get through all this, and things will get back to normal if there is such a thing as normal. I do believe that I don't think this is going to be a one-shot Kerrigan with the virus thing. I think there's going to be another virus coming out, whether it's accidental, intentional, or whatever. It doesn't make any difference where it's coming from. There's probably going to be something like this. I mean, we've shut down our economy, more than we did World War II over this thing. And, I know it's a lot of people are sick out there, and you got to be extremely careful, but you got to use common sense, as Tommy was saying in his dissertation this morning. And that's true. You've got to pay a little bit of common sense when you're looking at these markets. Now, we've had tremendous runs in some of these commodity markets coming into this new year here. And this is going to be very important, folks, because, we're getting corn close to $5 a bushel. We're only about 50 cents away on that. The beans are almost in their teens. They're only about 30 or 40 cents away from beans hitting $13. These are levels that when we've seen these before, it's brought a lot of supply into the market. So there's going to be a lot of things to do. These next few days here at the end of this year are my most, some of my most important days, because I get prepared what I think is going to happen over the next few months. And the main thing that I'm watching here is the U.S. dollar. and the British pound and the Japanese yen, because they're all interrelated. And I want to be able to see if we're at a point where we're going to catch a few people by surprise, because just about everyone now is looking for a big drop in the U.S. dollar. Back when it was, up there around the 103 level, I mean, the whole world was bullish, and now the whole world is bearish. And so we want to make sure that we look at the Australian dollar, the Japanese yen, the British pound, the Canadian dollar, the Swiss franc, and make sure that these look like, yes, this is the way we're doing. Because even though the euro is 53% of the U.S. dollar, that does not mean that these others can't come up and, really do some serious damage to your portfolio if you're not watching. And one in particular, of course, is that dollar yen. That's the next biggest one. All right, we're going to have Norman. He calls it to the minute. Winsky will be our guest. 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento watches the markets 24/7, and now is a great time to try out his daily trading service, Fibonacci 24/7. Larry publishes videos and charts for subscribers throughout the week when warranted, and every weekend he puts out a thorough report covering worldwide markets, futures, commodities, and currencies with Fibonacci retracement levels, possible trading setups and zones, and stops and targets for all recommendations included. Larry applies the principles he's developed over decades of trading while analyzing a variety of markets for subscribers. To see for yourself the types of videos, charts, and analysis that Larry provides for his subscribers, sign up for Fibonacci 24/7 today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. You'll also gain instant access to Larry's archived subscriber webinar from earlier this year. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today. If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, we have on the line, by the way, of Franklin, Indiana and Terre Haute, Indiana, the home of the Fighting Sycamores. And I understand, Norm, they're going to be changing the logo of the school because the trees are very upset about the being used as a mascot. Did you hear anything about that?
That's what I hear. They said they've been barking up the wrong tree.
Oh, God, I bit into that one. Oh, I lost a finger. Hey, buddy, Happy New Year to you. Shana Tova, tell me what's going on. What are you seeing? What are you doing?
Thank you. I just have one small correction, Larry.
Yes.
I'm from Frankfort, Indiana.
Frankfort. Aha. Thank you very
Home
much.
of the hot dogs. I know you're a basketball fan, Larry.
Yes, sir.
Frankfort has a little asterisk in Indiana basketball history. We had a coach by the name of Everett Case who took Frankfort to 4 state championships. Our school was the first school to win 4 state basketball championships. And you might know, if you're a basketball fan, Larry, that Everett Case is the guy who's credited with bringing Hoosier basketball to North Carolina. And then as a result of that, we got a fellow by the name of Michael Jordan.
Yes, I remember Michael Jordan. Yep, he was
Everett
pretty
Case,
good.
go look him up in Wikipedia. He's in the College Hall of Fame, College Basketball Hall of Fame, and the trophy there on the Atlantic Coast Conference is the Everett Case Trophy. He's a big deal.
Wow, very good. Well, you're a big deal, and we're glad to have you, buddy. So tell us what you're looking at today.
Okay. And by the way, the Frankfurt is the hot dogs.
Okay.
I used to back on the trading floor there when I first got there. They said, "Where did you go to school?" And I did 5 minutes of comedy just telling them where I went to school. You know, they had the hot dogs. They couldn't believe that. A book came out a couple of years ago, The Mascots of America, and Frankfurt is the only school in America that has a hot dog for mascot. And then I told them I went to Indiana State, and they're the Fighting Sycamores, and I do my Fighting Tree impression, and that put them on the floor, you know.
Well, right. keep your day job, Naram. You're gonna do better as a trader than a comedian. So go ahead, my friend.
All right, there we go. So anyway, here when I was last on your show on the December 11th, we had these events that I told you were coming up, and now we're going to review those and see if we can learn something. So there we go. We had on the 14th, the morning of the 14th, we had a new moon solar eclipse, and anytime we have a new moon or full moon, we round up the usual suspects. That's your financials, grains, and precious metals. And then we have Mercury. We had Mercury aphelion the night of the 15th. And the night of the 16th, we had Saturn entering Aquarius geocentrically for the first time in 29 and a half years or so. And we had these markets, and I'll be going over these markets. You might want to take a screenshot of these, of our playlist here. And then in the afternoon of the 17th, we had Saturn making an align with the U.S. natal chart of Mars, so the U.S. natal chart. So that's the U.S. financials, your stocks, T-bonds, the U.S. dollar. And the night of the 18th, over the 18th weekend, we had geocentric. That's from the point of the view of the Earth, Jupiter entering Aquarius. And there we had these markets to look at, okay? And then also over that weekend, we had heliocentric from the point of view of the sun, changing signs going into Gemini. And that often brings a short-term correction in the stock market when the Mars changes signs. And then the big kahuna, Larry, of course, was Monday afternoon when Jupiter lined up with Saturn. That only happens about every 19 and a half, 20 years. And in Aquarius, that has not happened in about 600 years. You probably remember that back when that happened.
Yes, and then, I was there that
day. And then to duplicate the same type of cycle where it's beginning a whole new set of cycles every for about 240 years, it stays in the same element of the zodiac, like fire, earth, air, water, and Aquarius is an air sign. And the air sign cycle that began in Aquarius, that began back in March of 1226. There you go. There you go. And so there we go. That's how big this thing is. And it also lines up with this one lines up with the precessional equinox in the 2160-year cycle. And so we're going from Pisces to Aquarius. So everything's lighting up for Aquarius here. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. I think the actual age will begin in about 200 years. So check back with me. Check back with me then. You know, right?
200 years. Yeah, we got it. You're on the books 200 years from now. Go ahead.
There you go. Have me back on your show, Larry. All right, here we go. Here's the cattle now. We went 50-50. We had 2 points to look at for the cattle. Oh, that was the two planets entering Aquarius. When they go into Aquarius, that makes a 90-degree key harmonic angle to Taurus the bull. That's why I have cattle here. And so we look at Taurus, the bull's markets, which are cattle and cotton. And the cattle is kind of obvious, Taurus the bull and cattle. And we went 50-50. There's a pattern. Several of these markets did this. The Saturn, the earlier one, it was a day or two early. And the Jupiter one, in most cases, was the better of the two. We went 50-50. A red arrow is a miss. A green arrow is a winner. If you sold there, you had a chance to make some money. If you sold there, you were a day or two early. You see, that's how that works, okay? And what we're looking for here in these windows, change in trend windows, is we're looking for Newton's law. For every action, there's opposite equal reaction. So we want the market to get to some sort of extreme. It doesn't always get us a big extreme, but, some kind of trend into the window. If it's going sideways, that's a no-go. We don't do sideways because the opposite of sideways is just more sideways. It's a mirror image thing, Here's your cocoa. Did the same thing upside down from the cattle. It made an initial low there, but that did not hold. The big low was when Jupiter went into Aquarius over the 18th weekend there. And so if you bought it there on the opening Monday the 21st, you did okay. Here's your coffee. This was really good. Saturn is a ruling planet for coffee. In this case, Saturn worked well for coffee. And there you go. You were selling right near the high. I think that's the high day there. You're just a penny or so off the high on the next day's opening. And there's your low there. Jupiter was going into Aquarius over the weekend. So if you this is also the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in the afternoon of the 21st. And so there you go. That was cancel the Jupiter in Aquarius. That would not be a factor. Jupiter lining up with Saturn, though, would be a factor because Saturn is the ruling planet for coffee. So we'd be looking at the afternoon of the 21st. All right, so copper, this was my big, if you go back and look at my notes here, just to prove that I'm not making it up, I had the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. Look at, there we go. I got all caps for copper. This is my big featured market for this period of time. And lining it, because it's in Aquarius. Jupiter and Saturn are lined up in Aquarius. Like I said, you had to go back 600 years to even find that. And so I thought this would be a big deal, and it was. If you remember, Larry, that's the date we topped out right there. Mm-hmm. And it dropped 18 cents from almost 365, just a hair under 365, to down to about 348, I think, something like that. And 18 cents, that's $4,500 in 3 days. It's not too bad. Right?
We got to pay a few bills. When we come back, we have a question for you about January the 13th, moon, sun, and 4 planets in conjunction. Would you be able to answer that for us?
I haven't done that. I'm still working on January, but I'd be happy to answer any question I think we're looking at here now.
Okay. We'll be right back with Norm Winski, folks.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Are you looking to buy or sell gold, silver, platinum, coins, or bullion? We can help. At Tiger Precious Metals and Stones, we specialize in the buying and selling of gold, silver, as well as collectible U.S. and foreign coins. We not only buy your unwanted or broken jewelry, but you can trade that in for gold and silver coins too. Call Andy now at 727-329-8245 for a quote over the phone and to lock in the current market price. Call us now at 727-329-8245.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The Bull Bear Trading Hour with Tom and Tommy O'Brien. Next.
Okay, we're back with Norm Winsky, Astro Trends out of Naples, Florida. Norm, please continue.
Alrighty. I did take a look at the January 13th, the night of the 12th. You have a new moon. I think the night of the 13th, you have Uranus turning direct or retrograde there. So I think that's an important day, but I don't see any 4 planets lining up like the question was,
Okay, not a problem, Norm. Please continue.
Anyway, I'm just working on January now. I got another week to go to get it done, so there you go. All right, here we go. We did the corn. Yellow bar means it's going sideways. We do nothing. And our next point was the Jupiter going into Aquarius, and we were going up there, so you might have sold, and that would be a miss. Here's your cotton. It was a day. Here we go. We had like a double, triple top here on the cotton, and you were Saturn in Aquarius there, and you were a little early, but you're on the high day there. So not too bad, really good when Jupiter went into Aquarius over the weekend there, and you were right near the top. Here's your gold going sideways, so we do nothing, and then you might have sold there on the night of the 16th, and then you had the, which was a miss, but then you had excellent timing there on the weekend of the 18th, selling on the opening on the 21st, and you had a bit of a short-term top there. Here's your hogs. Well, the hogs are really good. Saturn into Aquarius squares. This ruling sign for hogs is Scorpio, and that's a 90-degree angle. And so there you had a little top there, short-term top. And then we went down when Jupiter went into Aquarius. Then you made a low, and you could have bought on the opening of the 21st. And those were both winners. OJ, nobody trades them, I know, except for your buddies there. With Billy Ray and what's the other guy's name? Larry, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yeah. One of the 2 guys in the movie. Your
Willie
buddies.
Ray Valentine and Louis Winthorpe III.
There you go, Louis. A little early in the morning for me. There you go. Those are the only 2 guys left to trade the OJ. But it responds to the planets really well, as you can see here. We had that right on there's the moon. And your day early, but close to the bottom, and your day after that, and close to the bottom, and there's Jupiter, Saturn in the Aquarius, which is 180 degrees to Leo, which is gold, and then you had the Jupiter into Aquarius, also 180 degrees to Leo. And Leo's a sunny planet, ruled by the sun, and this is a sunshine drink. That's why we do that, and that kind of worked out well for the OJ. On Monday the 21st, silver going sideways. We did nothing there. I put that in there because I know a lot of people like gold and silver, and so I can't leave those out. People might get mad at me, Here's your beans going sideways, and that was we just had the one other point there. There's the moon, there's Mercury, and that did not work, so that's a miss in beans. Here's your S&P, worked really well. You had the here's the solar eclipse, made a little top there on the morning that Monday morning, and then we went down, and then we went back up, and then you had these tops, the series right near the top there, and that worked out. Here's your Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. That was a little bit of a dip there on the 21st. Here's your sugar. That worked out okay. Saturn went in a quarter. That's a 120 to Libra, which is the ruling sign for sugar. And there you go. They made a top there, and then Jupiter went to Aquarius, and you made a bottom. And here's your bonds. They worked out well, too. Bonds are Scorpio's market, and plus you have the U.S., and then you have the top 1, 2, 3, 4. You can go back and check the playlist there we have, and you'll see that these points worked out. Here's U.S. dollar. We're going sideways into the solar eclipse, so we do nothing. There was our U.S. natal point for the 17th, close of the 17th, overnight, the 16th, 17th, and that was the low day of the month. Here's your British pound, the only currency that wasn't going sideways at the time of the eclipse, and so there you had a possible buy there with a low because it had been going down. And here's your score. If you add up all the green arrows and red arrows, you had 29 winners and 6 misses. That's 82.82%. Here you go. Here's what's coming up. Tuesday night, the 29th, we will have Jupiter 150 to Venus. Wait, that's the U.S. Venus. And here's the bigger one. We got a full moon, as you mentioned earlier, Larry. Mm-hmm. And we round up the usual suspects, financials, grains, precious metals, and silver. And then we also, over the week, and the New Year's weekend, we have the Jupiter 45 to Neptune. And that, because Jupiter's in Aquarius, that's copper, and Neptune is oil. And, of course, stocks respond to everything. And here's a chart I briefly showed. We were short on time last time, but I showed this chart. You can check the archives there, and you'll see it was on here. This blue line I drew back in November as a model of sort of my version of the Bradley model. And this actually flipped upside down from the original mother chart. And you can see here, I showed this chart on your show. And we had it updated with the black bars up to about the 10th to the 11th. And since then, you can see the black bars, the S&P 500, 10-minute bars overlaid on this blue line. And there's to the blue line to the end of the month. I showed the whole month when I was on here. So that's pretty good, don't you think, Larry?
That's very good, Norm.
Yeah. And here's how to get a hold of Norm. If you want to know what's happening in January, like the person asking about the 13th, get a hold of me right away, and maybe we can figure out how to get the January letter or whatever. And here's my contact information. I'm in beautiful Naples, Florida. Phone 239-594-3939. Copy screenshot, shoot my email there. There's my Skype at @AnLewinsky_1. And by the way, my domain there's a lot of people mess it up. Embark with a Q there, like rootbeer@mail.com. So, any questions or comments there, Larry, from the den?
Well, I have one question, and that is regarding trading these. You have like the person that you had like 30 different trades. Do you trade all those yourself, Norm, or are you selective? The question is, are you selective of what you trade? I mean, there's one that you like better. You like one thing better than anything else?
What's that?
You like one commodity or better than anything else?
The system tells you what the top markets are of the month in advance, based on the energy that's there. I add up all the energy. I have a big matrix, a big calendar table, and I add up all the energy for all the different markets, and then I rank them. Here, I say in the letter, it shows you here's the best, probably the best markets to look at in the month, and I rank them. So I don't decide. The planets decide.
Okay, that makes good sense.
The less you think, Larry, the better you'll do.
Oh boy, I'll tell you, I'm a full believer in that, my friend. A full believer in that.
Absolutely, that's my whole goal here is to try to make this as objective and robotic as possible.
Well, that makes good sense. Norm, now we have January coming up. Of course, January 8th is going to be a holiday, being the King's birthday. But would you like to come back in, say, next time we have a new moon in January, sometime maybe around the this one doesn't give me new moons. Anything, let me know when you come back again, and we'll have you on again soon. Okay?
I'm going to guess around the 12th there because we got a moon in Uranus,
That's a 10. Let's shoot for the 12th, okay?
All right, very good. Happy New Year, everyone.
You bet. Shana Tova, Norm. Shana Tova.
There you go. Right. Bye.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step-by-step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
With markets trading with extreme volatility and peaks and troughs everywhere, regardless of what you're looking at in the markets, this is a great time to see the type of analysis Basil Chapman delivers for his subscribers every market day with the Opening Call newsletter. Basil has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The Opening Call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, along with specific recommendations, including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the Opening Call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, I posted the chart again of Apple. You'll notice we were trading pre-market this morning around 131. 99, 132. We're very close to that target we're looking at, which is 135.89. If you sold it the first time and you made a couple points, and this would be the same thing, you only got to risk about 2.5 points. If you're good at going to do it from that level, and one of these, I don't know when it's going to happen, there will be a bigger correction than just $3. But no one knows where the top is. If they do, they're not telling us, because this market has climbed the wall of worry like none we've ever seen before. So it will happen someday. We got these big dates coming up and come and gone. I mean, from the 14th to the 21st was something that's supposed to be really big. Nothing really happened. All we did was continue going higher and higher and higher. So here again, you got to revert to something. In the end, that's where the patterns come in, folks. The reason why people have a hard time trading is that because of the fear aspect. And if you stop and think of it, fear is an acronym for FEAR, false evidence appearing real, from our good friend Tony Robbins. Boy, if you stop and think of it, almost all your fears, 90% of them never happen. That's why we have these dreams, and sometimes they're nightmares, sometimes they're not. But that's what it's all about. And don't think about, these things, because you don't have any control over these things. When you're trading, all you got to do is to map out how much you want to risk. It's all about risk control. That takes the fear away. You don't have to worry about it. You get lost, move on to the next one. It's like being a cold caller trying to sell something. If someone hangs up on you, you don't stop and get a new job. No, you just keep dialing. Tiger Woods doesn't throw his golf clubs out into the water. He should sometimes, I guess. But, he takes his clubs and he keeps going. And that's what it's all about. So you got to keep going. Remember, false evidence appearing real. These things just do not happen in our lives. A few of them do, but they're not worth worrying about. And so I think it's important to remember that. I'm going to try to do a little bit more psychology coming in to 2021, because that's where the real game is played. It's between your ears, your left ear and your right ear. Most exclusive cycle and the most important cycle of all. Tomorrow, we'll be right back with a mystery guest tomorrow, folks. 877-927-6648. May God bless.